Hi, I'm going to take you through what you can expect from CAT 2017 in quant section. Quants, it is a scoring opportunity, but it is not as easy. Last year, the paper of quants was easy, but it was lengthy. So if you applied your brains, you could have solved the question, but time constraint was a big parameter. People who used time judiciously, they were able to do good. People who panicked, they were nowhere in the scene as far as your good percentiles are concerned. Now you need to keep in mind that quant section comes after DILR. As I have said, DILR is the most dreaded section. So first of all, you need to separate your mindset. If you mess up with DILR section, don't let it affect your quant section. You might feel that I'm not up to the mark as far as DILR section is concerned. Let me up my game, let me solve 30, 25 questions so that I can score good and I can compensate for that. If you're thinking like that, then you're going to hurt your own self. Just deal a section on its own merit. As I said, last year the math section was doable, but it was lengthy. So the number of attempts that students did was not very high. But that is what is the beauty all about, that you need to choose which question you need to do. You need to ignore the questions which are doable, but it is going to be time consuming. That is the challenge. That is the decision that you need to make, that which questions I need to do at that particular point of time and which questions I need to leave it. See, CAT is not going to test your intelligence. It doesn't see what your command over maths is. You might be a math whiz, but you might not consider time as a quantity, a precious quantity. Then you are no use for ions. You need to take time as a precious quantity and you need to utilize up to max. Knowledge, yes, you might have it. Let's say you're very good at percentage profit and loss. You want to do it, but it is time consuming. No point. Don't showcase your talent. Showcase your skill that you can solve it and you can solve it quickly. That is what matters. Now, when you come to this section, you start with question number 1, question number 2, you're able to solve it. The initial mindset is I'll solve each and every question. First, read the question. Many times, if you are familiar with a question, once you read the question, you know a map is there, what you need to do. This step will lead to this step and this step will lead to be the final answer. If you are clear about it, go ahead and solve. But if you're clear about it and you know that it is time consuming, let's say if you need to find out EMIs for 5 years, it is given, it is going to be time consuming. You know how to do it, but it is going to be time consuming. You have a calculator, but it is still going to be time consuming. You can mark for review. You can come back to it later because there will be many one-line problems that you can do it much more easily than then. If you have gone through the paper and you still feel that you have time left, then come back to mark for review questions. But you need to be judicious which question needs to be done in the initial one. Again, it is not, CAT paper is not judging how good you are in maths. It is judging in the given time frame how can you can optimize your performance. CAT is not about the subject knowledge, it is about the performance that matters. So if you are not good with, let's say, PNC, and suddenly a question crops up, I don't think that it's doable. Let's do it and write it and see what it is going to be. If you're not good at it, if you're not confident, just leave it and go ahead now. What is the point? It is not a guess game. Maths, you never guess. You get a correct answer. 8.5 is not equivalent to 8 or 9. 8.5 is 8.5. So don't guess. Again, let me take you through the previous year's scores. It will give you a bit of comfort that what you can expect and what scores can give you a good percentile. But again, a disclaimer, this is previous year CAT scores. This year anything can happen. And as I said in DILR section, do not judge a paper, just keep solving and solving. Time is a precious quantity, conserve it, use it judiciously. Don't get stuck in a question. Let's come to the scores. I'll give you a funny aspect. A person who did one correct question he or she might have scored 3 marks and would have ended up with 21 percentile. Yes, one question, 21 percentile. One correct question, 21 percentile. 3 correct question, 9 marks would have given you 43 percentile. 15 marks, that is 5 correct questions would have given you 62 percentiles. 21 marks, 7 correct questions would have given you 75 percentile. 30 marks, 10 correct questions, only 10 will give you 88 percentile. 10 questions in 1 hour, you have enough time. But you need to be choosy which questions can be done. You need to see where your accuracy is high. 10 questions would have given you 88 percentile. 12 questions would have given you 92 percentile. 12 correct questions would have given you 92 percentile. 13 correct questions would have given you 95 percentile. And 57 marks, that is 19 correct questions would have given you 99 percentile in QA section. You don't need to solve all the questions. Yes, if the paper is easy, you might feel that yes, paper is easy. Then also don't judge, just keep solving. Now, few students face a dilemma. Question number 1, ban gaya, 2 bhi ban gaya, 3 bhi ban gaya. Am I doing something wrong?
I'm not able to solve so many questions in mock CAT.
How the hell am I able to solve in CAT? Boss, you don't need to judge yourself, as I said. You might be correct. You have applied yourself. The questions might be easy for you, but it might be difficult for others. So trust your instincts, trust your learning, trust your knowledge, and trust whatever you have practiced in the past 1 year. That is going to lead the way. You need to believe in your own self. If you don't believe in your own self, no one is going to believe in you. So trust whatever you have and up your game. Now, as far as your preparation in QA section is concerned, what can be done in the last moment? What? Now, as I say, that you need to have a functional knowledge of each and every chapter, because the chapters can be interrelated. So you need to have functional knowledge of each and every chapter. Book 1 as we have it, that is speed, time and distance, time and work, percentage profit and loss, simple interest components, average mixture allocation, ratio, proportion, variation, simple equations. They are going to form a good chunk of questions for CAT. Practice it. Now don't practice the hardest questions. You know these chapters. What you need to do is, you need to build confidence that yes, you are in touch with those chapters, you have a grasp for concepts, and you just need to practice. So what you can do is, there's a special support SM, you can take that special support book and solve those chapters. It will give you a good flow, good practice, and you'll get the confidence up. CAT is a game of confidence. Apart from that, you need to revise the chapters very carefully. You cannot dwell into it in a very deep sense. You cannot just skim over it. So what is the method that I use is, I just take a chapter, let's say I take a quadratic equation. So first of all, if I'm going to revise a quadratic equation, I make a mental note. What are the topics that I studied in quadratic equation? So first of all, it comes at, okay, what is the degree of an equation? What constitutes a quadratic equation? A quadratic equation can be factorized in a normal way, or we can find out the roots of a quadratic equation. If we are not able to factorize it, we can find the root of the quadratic equation. Apart from that, we study properties of the roots. We see what is alpha plus beta, what is alpha into beta. We also see how alpha plus beta and alpha beta can be used in a quadratic equation, can be used to form a quadratic equation. Then properties of the roots, if the roots are increased by 2, what needs to be done? If it is decreased by 2, what needs to be done? If it is multiplied by 2 or a reciprocal has been taken, what needs to be done? Those are things that you need to recall. After that, see, you are just going through what you have studied. There are many question types, don't worry about it. Just see what are the theory associated. After that, you come to quadratic expressions. What do you understand by quadratic expression? When a is greater than 0, will it give me a maxima or a minima? When a is less than 0, what will give me a maxima or a minima? You need to understand that. Minima or a maxima occurs at what values of x? What is this value where the minima occurs? The minima occurs at x equal to minus b by 2a. And the value of the minima or a maxima is minus d by 4a. So you need to have it by heart. So this is what you have studied. Apart from that, there is Descartes' rule. You need to have a knowledge of what Descartes' rule is. If you are comfortable, then go and solve certain questions so that you can practice. If you cannot recall all the topics, you need to go back and see what are the things that you have missed, studied, so the next time you are able to recall it. So I wish you all the very best. Hope you have a great CAT. You make your own self proud and the people, your near and dear ones proud. Do not panic. Give your best. You have worked hard for past 1 year. If you have worked sincerely and honestly, you will bear the fruits. You will do good. Bye-bye.